So I've gone with the Aston Martin green for this one to match the Aston Martin car that was just announced. This video is coming out like a week after that's already happened, so probably doesn't make much sense with context, but it's close enough to the Aston Martin green. I just need like a stripe of pink just right across me right here just to really finish it off. So what's going on, people? I hope you are all doing well wherever you are in the world. Welcome back to the channel. And I know a big topic of conversation, of debate, and of lots of yelling and screaming at people on Twitter is what track is good in Formula One, or what tracks are good in Formula One. Lots of hotly contested debates over this topic. It's a very subjective opinion, just like basically everything in Formula One is. But also, much like everything in Formula One, everyone has their opinion, whether it be liveries, favorite drivers, favorite teams, whatever it may be. Everyone's got their opinions. I've got my opinion, and for some reason I think you guys care about my opinion. So here are my top 10 tracks on the 2021 Formula One calendar. Let's go. Now, before we get into the meat and potatoes of this one, if you like what I'm doing, if you like the stuff I'm putting out into the F1 YouTube content community, feel free to lick that stamp and just send that subscribe button down below. It would mean a lot to the channel, and it would help me make more videos for you. So it's a mutually beneficial thing. With that being said, onto the video. Now at number 10, it's a track F1 has actually never raced at before, thanks to certain events that happened in 2020 that made the calendar a bit skinny. But it's going to be Zandvoort. I know we haven't actually raced there, so we haven't seen what the racing can be like, but I have played it and driven it on the F1 2020 game, and though I don't see it as being a great track for racing, I think it's a fun track to drive. All the undulations and the banked corners are really fun. I think it'll be a fun qualifying track for this season because it really tests the drivers, puts them at their full limit of potential, because one mistake at Zandvoort, much like some of the other tracks on this list, you're just done. It's Spinala over. Coming in at number 9 is a fairly new addition as well to the calendar. I believe it was 2016 that this race was first done. It was the European Grand Prix back then. Now it's the Baku, or the Azerbaijan Grand Prix technically. It's the Baku City Street Circuit. Absolutely love this track. It's so unique. It was a very fresh bringing into the sport after all the Tilkodromes that we got. Obviously, there's only so much he can change about a city, and this track slaps. I'm not gonna lie, I love that straight and the really tricky castle bit. It's given us so many good moments over the years, like the I Am Stupid and the Ericsson Hit Us. It's become an instant classic of a track for me. I'd say over the time in F1 that it's gonna be here, more than 50% of the time, it's gonna produce a banger of the race. Next track. And coming in at number 8, we have my first and only Tilkodrome on this list, which technically means it's my favorite Tilkodrome that there is. It's Bahrain. I absolutely love this track. It has offered up some fantastic, iconic races over the years, and technically, even though it wasn't the same layout, it was the same location, Sakir was such a good race. It's an instant classic. I don't care if it was different, it was perfect. But even on the regular variation of the track, that I believe it's turn 10, tricky left-hander onto the DRS straight is just money. And coming in at number 7, we have Oh Canada. Yes, it is the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, the Canadian Grand Prix. Such a good track. And again, the biggest thing I love about this track is it's got that one corner that is so imperative to the lap. The Wall of Champions is such an iconic part of the track. It gives it so much character, and I absolutely love that. You mess up that, it's the final corner too. You mess up the final corner, you're in the wall and your session is done. There's such high stakes at that one corner. I absolutely love it. And also, this is a good time to bring up, it's no longer hashtag SebWDC 2020, because we're in 2021 now. I've been keeping you guys on your toes. You keep asking me, where is hashtag Nick WDC 2021? It's gonna happen. Williams back being champions. You cannot tell me otherwise. Latifi is your 2021 champion. And coming in at number 6, I feel like some people might think that I'm underrating this track just a little bit, but it's Monza. The problem I have with it is not that it's not a good track, but I just personally don't like driving it. I know that's a really weird way to put it, but when I'm driving in the F1 game, I just don't find it enjoyable. It's just long, straight, hard braking zone, long, straight, hard braking zone, long, straight, hard braking zone. I like the Ascari, I like the Parabolica. It's a fun track, but I think it's just a bit overhyped in my opinion. I can feel the people getting mad at me right now, but I'm okay with it. One thing I will say to kind of bring some light to Monza for me is I love the Tifosi. That 2019 Leclerc win, Ferrari winning at Monza just hits different. The horde of people on the track is incredible, and I absolutely love it. And now number 5, we've got Interlagos. I love this track so much. I really enjoy a track that's very flowy, and the exit is so important to the entry of the next corner. There's just something about this track that is almost quietly daunting. It doesn't look that challenging. It's just a very simple few corners. It doesn't look daunting at all. But the second you mess up, this thing catches you out, you lose the back end, you get that oversteer, and it's fantastic for qualifying. Not to mention the iconic races over the years. Senna, is that Glock? Is that Glock? We don't know. You've got the Albon and Hamilton collision. I mean, this track has so much history. It's unbelievable. We just love to see it on the calendar every year, and we're glad it's still there and not being replaced. Just good. Number 4 is one of my favorite tracks to drive, to watch, to everything about the Red Bull Ring is just so good. I like the lack of corners it has. It really means you have to be on it for those few corners. There's not many places where you can make up time. I love the bowl section in the middle. And I mean, come on. When Max won that race in 2019 and you had the Dutch army on the straight, that was just, I still get chills from that moment. I loved it. Now the podium positions. This is where things get spicy because there's so many good tracks to choose from. Number 3 for me, though, it's got to be Silverstone. I really love this track. The amount of tricky corners it has. Copse is one of my favorite corners on the calendar. Maggots and Beckett's one of my favorite sections in the calendar. But the reason it's not number 2 or number 1 for me is it's flat. And I know that that's kind of the appeal of it. It's nice, flat, straight off circuit. But I like undulations. I like it when things kind of move and the drivers have to deal with different ways that the track undulates. But nonetheless, Silverstone is one of my favorite tracks of all time to watch, to drive, for everything. It is beautiful. Now coming in at number 2, I swapped number 1 and 2 around a lot. I really had a hard time pinning this down, so I guess you could call number 2 like number 1.5 because it's so close, but I love Suzuka. It's such a good track. It's the one track I think that's still in the grid that genuinely terrifies the drivers, because the thing with Monaco is obviously tight and twisty and you can easily get into accidents, but the accidents that happen there are usually at fairly low speeds, so there's not really any danger perceived there. But at Suzuka, you are flying through those S's. You are flying through 130R at such a high speed. The danger of that track just never ceases to amaze me. And a big thing with these top 3 is the amount of character they have. You just look at the track and you sense the character. I love the gravel and the grass runoffs. Suzuka is just such a fantastic track. Only reason it's not number 1 for me is because the racing hasn't been top level recently, just because of the way the cars are. I hope that changes in the future with the 2022 cars. But let's get on to number 1. That's what you're really here for. Now, number 1, you might have a few tracks in your mind as to what you think it is, but trust me, you probably know what it is. It's the circuit, the Spa-Francorchamps. Yeah, Eau Rouge. What else do I have to say? Eau Rouge is probably the reason I picked this track. It is the most iconic corner in Formula 1. It's my favorite corner in Formula 1, and everything about this track is perfect. It's got the undulations, it's got good racing, except for last year. We don't have to talk about that. It's just got everything for me. I absolutely love it. It's an instant classic every single year. La Source is the source. get it, of a lot of first lap crashes. I just love it. It's a great track for qualifying, great track for racing. I feel like I'm a broken record, but that's okay. Spa's number one easily. So there it is, I guess you could call my ideal 10 race calendar. If we were to only have a 10 race season, these are the tracks I would go to and it would be absolutely perfect. But I want to hear your guys' thoughts down in the comments below. What are your top 10 favorite tracks of all time? You can even dig into the past for this. I'm just using the ones from 2021 because they're the most relevant. But I hope you enjoyed watching this one as much as I enjoyed making it. Feel free to lick the stamp, send that subscribe button down below, drop a like if you really liked it, and don't miss the apex.